Hello everyone, the 27th of March 2020, and this is my background for recordings with general thoughts. You might have noticed that I have not been too busy recently here. I have shifted my attention to the course on Jane Austen. This is a future learning course. It's very difficult for me because I do not recall the novels, and at the same time the physical condition makes it impossible for me to read them right now. Of course, within that short time, I can read some smaller samples of text. However difficult it is, these are years of practice, so it's easier for me than it would be for someone who had not been used to reading. Or who was never used to reading. I'm here to say a few words to someone. The course begins with an introduction of a totally nice girl. Her name is Emma. And on the whole, we like each other. And it makes me think of all those characters that appear, that put on all sorts of appearances. So our homework or task now was to study 2 chapters from Mansfield Park. The focus is a landscape, but I would like to give you an excerpt for a different reason. "I'm afraid you are very tired, Fanny," said Edmund, observing her. "Why would not you speak sooner? This will be a bad day's amusement for you, if you are to be knocked out. Every sort of exercise fatigues her so soon, Miss Crawford, except riding. How abominable in you, then, to let me engross her horse as I did all last week. I am ashamed of you and of myself, but it shall never happen again. Your attentiveness and consideration make me more sensible of my own neglect. Fanny's interest seems in safer hands with you than with me. That she should be tired now, however, gives me no surprise, for there is nothing in the course of one's duties so fatiguing as what we have been doing this morning. Seeing a great house, dotting from one room to another, straining one's eyes and one's attention, hearing what one does not understand, admiring what one does not care for. It is generally allowed to be the greatest bore in the world, and Miss Price has found it so, though she did not know it. I shall soon be rested, said Fanny, to sit in the shade of a fine day and look upon verdure is the most perfect refreshment. After sitting a little while, Miss Crawford was up again. I must move, said she. Resting fatigues me. I have looked across the ha-ha till I am weary. I must go and look through that iron gate at the same view, without being able to see it so well. Edmund left the seat likewise. Now, Miss Crawford, if you will look up the walk, you will convince yourself that it cannot be half a mile long, or half a mile. It is an immense distance, said she. I see that with a glance. He still reasoned with her, but in vain. She would not calculate. She would not compare. She would only smile and assert. The greatest degree of rational consistency could not have been more engaging, and they talked with mutual satisfaction. At last it was agreed that they should endeavour to determine the dimensions of the wood by walking a little more about it. They would go to one end of it, in the line they were then in, for there was a straight green walk along the bottom by the side of the ha-ha, and perhaps turn a little way in some other direction, if it seemed likely to assist them, and be back in a few minutes. Fanny said she was rested, and would have moved too, but this was not so. Edmund urged her remaining where she was with an earnestness which she could not resist, and she was left on the bench to think with pleasure of her cousin's care, but with great regret that she was not stronger. She watched them till they had turned the corner, and listened till all sound of them had ceased. So, it's quite a fun situation, I must say. The person keeps on targeting me, and she's quite unfortunate in it, because I happen to be a high flyer, though not flying among the formalities. And it's the primary school experience, the secondary school experience where there were more high flyers, and the university experience, where the completion comes among the ones specializing in Shakespeare, and under the supervision of Marta Giwińska, Professor Marta Giwińska. So I do not believe she got a comparable education, even if she had studied in England. But it goes further, actually. How low it is to pretend that my mom is me. My mom, who could not get education because my grandma was a victim of the war, and other phenomena that tend to accompany wars. But also, I believe, because she was targeted in the primary school, probably by people like the person. I guess some boy must have said that Basia was the most beautiful girl. Oh my God. On the whole, there's one point I would make. I was thinking of it yesterday. There's a particular situation now with me getting involved in whatever activity with other people. They get people connected to me, and they connect people um, not at my level. And with people at my level, there's a problem because of what they have done to my body. So what sort of channels there are, what sort of possible physical entanglements it involves. And obviously what I do with the bodies that are stuck in my belt or stocked or whatever that enter my body. But you know, there's this question of the elite. And yesterday I felt this moment of truth and honesty in it. So, what do you really believe in? Because, you know, someone came from above and they were playing God. So, you know, the sea. And obviously they decided that I was not the elite. So what do I do now? And this is truly the moment of testimony. What do you really believe in? A conflict costs a lot. Beyond whatsoever horror of expectation. But then, if you are the elite, do you believe that there's some guy who will come to you, marvelously rich, and say, well, you know, all you have been doing all your life, all the good works, all your education, all your ideas, your heart, your soul are worth nothing by my standards. So how do you relate to it? Are you the elite? Or is he